People believe things that aren't true, that encourage them to harbour negative thoughts and feelings towards refugees. And when I point out that the things aren't true, you think I'm condescending. I don't know what to do with those 3 facts.
All right, so in this video, you're going to see what happens when a deeply damaging lie, a myth you've probably seen in an angry Facebook comment, is repeated on national radio. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the like and subscribe buttons, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss a video. Now let's watch this together, and then I'll give you my thoughts at the end.
Anna is in Middlesbrough. Anna, what would you like to say?
So before I say it, firstly, I'd like to say that I do agree with probably 99% of your politics.
Of course.
But I do find sometimes that you're quite condescending.
I'm sure
and
I am.
think that people they can come to these conclusions just because they read and hear things.
What else happens, do you think?
So I come from quite a low-class area, and it is an area where a lot of asylum seekers and refugees get put. My dad's a 70-odd-year-old ex-scaffolder. In fact, he was only finished scaffolding 67 years ago. A few years ago at 67, he was scaffolding up until the age of 67.
Yeah.
He's now on a pension. He can barely afford to eat or put his heating on, living hand to mouth. And we live in an area where it started off with one family because it's a working class area, but it's a nice area in a working class area. So it's quite sought after accommodation. And they were from Syria. They were put there because they were chased out of another area. The people in where my dad lives welcomed this family. And actually, my dad stood guard on this house one night when some racists were trying to get at them. But since then, quite a lot of their extended families have been moved into the area. We've seen, my dad sees them, they've all got nice cars, nice clothes, mobile phones. And it does get my dad upset when he can barely afford to, get a week's shopping in.
Yes. And does he believe that they've been given their cars and their phones by the government or something like that?
Well, we do know that they do all get a hand up to get started. Now, they are grafters, I'm not taking anything away from them because I actually agree that we do need to help people.
So they're working?
But some of them are, yeah. The males in the family are. The women, obviously, they aren't allowed.
Yeah. So what exactly, so they're working, you said they're grafters, so they're working very hard and they've got a nice car. What is your dad cross about?
No, it's not, it's because of the area we live, and it's obviously, whenever any of the council houses has become available, it's been given to an asylum seeking family.
Yeah.
And obviously, I know people that work in the local council.
I think it would be someone who's
get the furniture and everything provided. They do get a very big hand up to start.
Yes. They don't. Well, how big is it, Anna?
Well, they get the houses furnished. They do get provided cars and things like that.
They don't get provided with cars, Anna.
They have done.
They don't.
From what I've seen.
But the thing is now, I have to say, where did you hear that? And you say that I'm condescending because people believe this stuff independently of having been told it by people who aren't telling them the truth, you see. I don't want to be condescending, and I understand why you use that word, but where did you hear that asylum seekers are given free cars?
I'm not saying all asylum seekers.
But where did you hear it?
I've got friends that work in the local council that work a part of these, and it's again.
What sort of cars do they get?
I don't know that precisely for every single one. What I'm saying is.
Well, I heard what you're saying. Everyone can hear what you're saying, Anna.
What the area I live in, and it's always the asylum seekers are always put in lower class, underprivileged areas. And the reason people get annoyed, and whether it's right or wrong, well, it is wrong, but it's not because of necessarily that they're getting, it's because they're struggling as well.
What would your dad feel? What would they feel like if they were put in smarter areas than where you live, where your dad lives?
Well, our area wouldn't see them, would we? I mean, I'm not being funny, James. How many council estates have you lived on?
Well, 2, but a long time ago, and it doesn't really mean anything in the greater scheme of things because the daily.
It doesn't. Let me tell you why.
But Anna, the stories. Okay, the stories that. Okay, you carry on, and then I'll have a go.
But this is true, though, because I mean.
Is it as true as the free cars?
You can take the mick out of that all you want.
I'm not taking the mick out of it because you'll call me condescending. You've believed something that's not true, Anna. And I don't know how I can help you. But let's focus on the housing bit, because if they were put in Mayfair or Belgravia, or if let's just say they were put in an area where your dad can't afford to live, then that would be the thing that they were getting cross about as well.
But
unless they actually object to the proximity.
No, it's not a case of the proximity.
What is it then?
They can't get the houses that are available.
But who can't get? Your dad's got a house.
I'm not. I'm on about this. I know that because there's people in the area. Like,
Yes.
well, I'll take for instance. Then my sister recently, she was private renting. The renter wanted the house back. My sister was trying to get a house, and she couldn't get a house for love nor money.
Yes. So where is she now?
Renting again. She's having to private rent again.
Well,
But she was, and she has.
She got a house
two
then?
children. Yeah, but eventually, and again.
What's the
like,
99% of my politics you agree with, Anna? Just out of interest.
Because I'm not saying that we shouldn't be helping. What I'm saying is the reason people are getting angry.
They shouldn't. Well, I don't. But you're getting angry about free cars that don't exist, and about people being housed in the poorest parts of town. Whereas if they were being put, I'm not getting angry. I'm trying to explain why people are angry. But they're angry about things that aren't real.
But that is real, though, James. You're saying that isn't real about the housing. It's true.
No, but your sister's got a house, and if they put them in areas, if they put them in smarter parts of town.
But when people
then people would be even angrier.
I understand why they would get upset.
Of course I can. If they were homeless people who could afford to pay rent and couldn't get a house that was being given. And also, I don't think asylum seekers get houses. You'd have to have had your application actually fully processed at that point, where you become an actual refugee. You are a successful applicant for asylum. And listen, I do understand.
Well, to say I disagree, because I know for a fact.
I do understand. Well, you knew for a fact they were getting free cars a minute ago. I mean, we can't keep going round in circles.
Right. Again, I didn't say. I said I've seen it and I've been told. I didn't say I knew for a fact.
And then when I say that that's not true, you call me condescending.
Actually, I said I find it quite condescending at times, James. I said I agree with what you said.
I don't know how to help, you see, because people believe things that aren't true, that encourage them to harbour negative thoughts and feelings towards refugees. And when I point out that the things aren't true, you think I'm condescending. I don't know what to do with those three facts, Anna. I really don't. I've got no beef with you, and your dad sounds like a lovely bloke. He really does stand in guard outside the house. But the feelings of the people that wanted to attack the house are the feelings that you're describing.
But you've completely turned everything I've said around.
I haven't. I've just repeated it back to you.
No, you haven't at all. I'm saying the reason why people do get upset at times, and I've said that we do need help. It's not an easy answer, but this is really happening in a lot of working class.
But it isn't, you see. The free cars, it's not really happening.
But you keep going back to that. And I've said,
because that's the most inflammatory thing that you said. And I think it was in a British National Party manifesto in 2011.
But I'm only saying from people.
It was a lie then, and it's a lie now.
In the council. Okay, fair enough, then we'll call that a lie. But when we come to a housing situation, that's not a lie.
Well, no, of course it's not a lie. But everybody needs somewhere to live, and if they were putting the people that we're talking about in,
I know, but what I'm saying is, this is why people get upset.
Yes, but they'd be even more upset if they were being put in smarter parts of town. This is why it's such a reductive argument. Is that they put the asylum seekers in the cheapest property available. Now, your argument is, but there are some people who were born here who want the cheapest property available as well. I've got no beef with that. But if they put them somewhere else,
not wanting it, not a case of I want that house. I need a house.
Yes, but if they put the asylum seekers or the refugees who are often fleeing torture and persecution and living on £5.83 a day, if they put them somewhere else, somewhere smarter, then people in the part of town you're talking about would be absolutely livid, and the Sun would have it on their front page. You remember the stories about a single mother from Syria with 8 children and a mansion in Maida Vale? So whatever happens, unless you give these people no help at all, whatever happens, what you're describing here is legit.
I'm not saying
no, you've got to let me finish one sentence, Anna.
You say you're not condescending.
No, I'm really not. I'm just asking you to let me finish one sentence because you can't hear what I'm saying if you're talking. Whatever they did, the feelings you're describing would still exist. There's nothing that can be done differently.
All right, so let's break down what we just witnessed there. It was a masterclass in dismantling a conspiracy theory in real time. First, notice the Socratic method at play. James O'Brien doesn't just shout, "You're wrong." He just asks a simple, devastating question. Where did you hear it? And the whole argument crumbles, and the caller, Anna, has to fall back on the oldest excuse in the book, which is, I've got friends that work in the local council, but it's just hearsay, it's gossip, and it's baseless. And this is the part that no one's talking about, and you still don't hear anyone talking about. The free cars lie is just the inflammatory hook. When that collapses under the slightest scrutiny, Anna immediately pivots to the real issue, housing. Her sister can't get a council house, but she sees asylum seekers getting them, and this is the legitimate pain point that the lie was designed to attach itself to. And here's where it gets even worse. Anna started the call by accusing James of being condescending for challenging these kinds of beliefs. Did you catch that bit? She's preemptively blaming the person correcting the lie, not the friend who allegedly told her the lie in the first place. And this is a classic defense mechanism for people who are emotionally invested in a narrative, even when it's not true. And the caller's dad a 78-year-old ex-scaffolder can't afford his eating. That is a real systemic failure. But the lie gives people a simple, visible villain to blame instead of a complex, invisible system. And James nails it at the end. This lie dates back to far-right party manifestos from decades ago. It's not an organic rumour. It's a manufactured piece of political propaganda designed specifically to make working-class people angry at asylum seekers instead of the people actually in power or the ideologies that led to this sort of position, which I would argue is the conservative ideology that's dominated British politics for the last 50, 60 years. So what do you think? What was the most revealing moment for you? Let me know in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button for more, and also don't forget to press the notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching.